Hello and welcome. The challenge guides are not done yet. I chose a couple shorter challenges to talk about today, one being Airborne, I think it's interesting and pretty tough, and Collateral Damage I promised to mention because a lot of people have been asking about it, but I'm warning you right now I don't have much of a guide because it is such a luck-based challenge, but I chose two short challenges like those because, of course, before getting to them I want to slide in an update on Counter MVP from last week. Yep, very similar format to the Extreme Speed update. If you don't care about this challenge, you can use the description to skip ahead, but if you care about Counter MVP, I do have some important stuff to say about it. The thing is, this isn't the type of update where I have a simple correction to make. No, now I just really don't know what the hell is going on with this challenge. The rabbit hole goes deeper. There's a whole lot to explain, so you'll have to hang in there if you want to understand everything I've learned so far. Somehow I knew I'd be giving an update on this challenge. I even said so at the end of the original video, something like, if I get better information, I'll make an update. Well, here we go. First of all, I'm grateful there are many of you guys willing to bring more evidence and examples to the table to help confirm and deny the theories I come up with, because that's all they are, theories. And I'm glad I'm always careful to call them that, because they're certainly not always correct. The theory I'm talking about right now is the conclusion I arrived at in that Counter MVP video of needing to get all 10 MVP kills in one life. Upon learning more, I immediately left this big pinned comment on the video with the updated information, which you don't need to read as I'll be explaining all that right now, because even with that comment combined with a note at the top of the description and an alert that plays on the video right away and a tweet about it, people will still miss all those things, and I want to make sure I get the newer information to as many people as possible. So here's what you need to know. All the information in that video, like the tied scores counting, how Kingslayers factor in, and the recommendations of small lobbies and long games, or just waiting for them to maybe add infected mode, all that doesn't change, and that's why I didn't rush out an update or take the video down entirely. However, in that video, I arrived at the conclusion that you needed to earn all 10 MVP kills in one life, because I only had one example of it being earned. That, however, appears to be an incorrect conclusion. In light of more examples I've now been able to analyze, a better theory for the actual hidden condition of the challenge is that you can die, but you have to get all 10 MVP kills while you yourself are the MVP for your team. However, I was desperately trying to earn this challenge just one time for the video to try to prove it was working as expected, and I may have gotten examples that go against that theory. Like I said, really confusing. I was really willing to believe the old theory about it being in one life because I felt like if it was just 10 MVP kills while being the MVP, I should have earned that by now. I'm not that bad at the game, I am often at the top of my team, and I've played a lot of long games like Headquarters to get my 100 wins done, and if not me, then the people in the comments who sparked looking into the challenge in the first place, the people who said, I got 130 plus kills and didn't earn it. Surely they were the MVP with 130 kills, right? And they didn't kill the other MVP 10 times? That's really hard to believe, and I guess in many examples of running the challenge it can be tough to differentiate between those two conditions because staying alive and being the MVP often go together. Well, I saw two people comment with the idea for this other new theory, and I agreed that it was certainly very plausible, although a reason that they had was that the title Counter MVP maybe implied that you needed to be the MVP yourself. And I disagree with that. Like, it sounds right if you already know that's how it works, but I would never have gotten that information from the title. I think you can definitely describe yourself as the Counter MVP if you kill the MVP 10 times. Even if you're on the bottom of the board, I would still say you're countering the MVP quite effectively. Like the challenge Counter C4, that doesn't mean you need to counter the C4 with another C4. You can just shoot the C4. To counter something, you don't need to be that thing. But it turns out that could be a correct way to interpret the challenge. But I really don't even know. I wish they could be more clear about these things so I can stop making an absolute asshole of myself taking educated guesses at how these things work. I will say again, this newer theory should not be treated as a fact either. I think we have a lot more to learn here. But as for the evidence that originally helped convince me of this new theory, that came from Ryan, this dude on Twitter, who was kind enough to send me his example of earning the challenge, said I could use it and everything. To fast forward through this one, I won't waste time going through it in great detail with markers like in the main challenge video. He was awarded the challenge upon respawning at 5:20 into the video, and if we look at the life before that respawn, he only got 4 kills while alive, and it looked like all of them were actually MVP kills or tied for MVP. I checked the scoreboard when he showed it, and in between I just used the kill feed to know where each enemy was on the scoreboard at the time of being killed. It was really funny how the people he killed seemed to always be perfectly tied for MVP at the time to give him the point. Crazy luck. He was obviously playing really well too, but that big luck component of the challenge is the crappy part. Well, after those 4 MVP MVP kills while waiting to respawn. He got 5 more kills thanks to a good grenade and his helicopter, and I think 4 out of 5 of those were MVP kills as well, although I don't think those kills while dead would count towards the 4 that he got in that single life, because when you're dead, those kills don't count towards your kill streak. For example, if you're at 4 kills and you get a martyrdom kill before respawning, you don't respawn with an airstrike. The kill streak does reset upon death, not upon respawning, unlike equipment that you place in the map, which goes away upon respawn. But obviously, either way, that 4 and 5 cannot add up to 10 in one life. He had to have gotten some before that life that counted towards the challenge, and he was the MVP for his team for the whole game. So that one game really helps to disprove the one life theory and point towards the MVP versus MVP theory, I'll call it, because that also fits with our 2 previous examples. There was that Shipment game where I got 15 Kingslayer medals, but I think I was somewhere around 3rd on my team for the whole game and never on top. And as for Aaron94's game that we analyzed last time, he was definitely the MVP of his team for those 10 MVP kills we counted out, because he was going on that big streak right off the bat. Now, I really wanted to be more sure of this theory. I wanted to earn the challenge just one time for the video, even though I barely have any time to play, but instead of earning it, I got several examples that I think might go against that new theory. Oh joy! The first example is a bad one because I'm a moron, didn't check the software, and only started recording the game halfway through, so I have half a game to show you what I mean. It was a domination game on Shipment, and I truly do believe that I was the MVP for my team the whole time. I got off to a great start. My first half was better than my second. I had airstrikes and helicopters coming in. I remember when I had 7,000 score, the guy in second only had 4,000, and I can confirm with the video here that I was well ahead for the entire second half that I recorded. I counted out 7 Kingslayer medals in the second half alone, and in total, at the end when it adds them up, this was another 15 Kingslayer medal Shipment game. Must have had 8 in the first half, which is reasonable, and even though I am pretty darn sure I was the MVP the whole time, that game did not count either. My 3 main ideas to explain that were maybe I'm even more of an idiot than I think and I actually wasn't the MVP for a lot of the first half, although I really think I was. Or it is possible that our current theory isn't completely right and there's yet more to understand about this terrible challenge. Or the idea I believed at first was that maybe each domination half counted as a full game and the MVP kills didn't carry over into the next half, so that 8 and a 7 wasn't 10 and didn't count. That is believable because that's how it worked for challenges for the first couple months of Black Ops 3, but they did fix that in December to make domination all count as one game. So I thought they would keep that fix in place going forward, but I can't confirm how it works in MWR. I was pretty sure of myself too after this Showdown game, not quite as small as Shipment, but I was still really hunting down that MVP. I got in late, which is bad because I had less time and I needed to overtake the MVP on my team first. This right here is when I checked the scoreboard and I could confirm I overtook the MVP, and I remained the MVP for the rest of the game. I got 2 MVP kills before the half ended, and in the next half, I got 9. 9 MVP kills for a total of 11, which you'd think would count, but if the domination halftime split up the challenge, then I actually would have been 1 short of earning it. Well, damn it. If I recall, 7 of them in this half were actual Kingslayer medals, and 2 of them were when my helicopter killed the MVP, which we know has to count thanks to Aaron94's game from the previous video. Well, this wasn't going well, but at this point I figured domination was the problem, and I wanted to keep going because despite being surprised that I had never earned this challenge by accident somehow, I was feeling like it wasn't that hard now. I just had to go try hard with the M16 in headquarters. I can get 10 MVP kills, no problem. And in the first game, something interesting happened. I became the MVP right away with first blood and stayed that way for the entire game, so don't worry about that condition, I was the MVP. The MVP on the enemy team quickly evened out to be Soul Hero, and after he emerged as the top guy, he remained the MVP for the whole game. I counted out my MVP kills and I'm showing them all to you. If the Kingslayer medal didn't pop up, then check the kill feed because I killed him with a kill streak. Again, Aaron94's game had to confirm that helicopter kills on the MVP count. I really do believe that. I never confirmed airstrike kills work, but I only got 1 of those, and you'll soon see at the end here that doesn't matter because I got 11 kills on him. 11 MVP versus MVP kills, no challenge popping up. What in the actual hell is going on with this challenge, dude? There were well over 6 people in the game, definitely more people than were in this ambush game when it did count. I was the MVP the whole time, if that matters, and he was undeniably the MVP. And here, at 5 minutes left when I had 11 earned already, just got another helicopter. By the way, helicopters are very helpful for this challenge because remember with the helicopter threat assessment, they will target down the MVP for you. They try to shoot the person at the top of the enemy team, keep that in mind. Well, I was good to keep going, and they all left. They all quit at once. I swear to God, the game does not want me to earn this challenge. And them quitting should not have affected earning the challenge because it should have popped up on the screen as soon as I completed it. But I got 11 and nothing. And this game really calls into question the other two domination games where I got 15 and 11 Kingslayer medals as the MVP. Maybe the halftime wasn't splitting them up, and there is yet another factor at play that was actually stopping me from earning it. I just don't know. I don't really care about getting the challenge earned for myself right now, but I tried so hard to earn it for the sake of the video. Instead, I got examples that contradict the new theory. And that's good, I guess. I want to get the best information in this update video. I wouldn't want to endorse another idea that turns out to be incorrect. There must be something I'm missing. Could it still somehow actually be in one life? I don't think so, and game mode shouldn't matter. We saw it earned in Team Deathmatch and in Headquarters. Confirmed, you can earn it in Headquarters. And I mean, back in Modern Warfare 3, I showed that person earning it in Infected mode, and I don't think they've changed the challenge that much, so that's the real kicker. I had a lot more I wanted to share here about this challenge, but I don't have any concrete answers. I expect the discussion to continue in the comments until we have a better theory that explains everything. So if you're watching this much later after it has been posted, scroll down and you might see more info there. If I have something to say, it should be there as a pinned comment. That's a good rule of thumb. If there's ever something I want to append to a video, like an update or an extra strategy I didn't think of and somebody else suggested, check for a comment pinned to the top. Well, okay, what does all this mean to you right now? Even if the MVP versus MVP theory was the correct one, or not, or whatever is going on, after all that, my personal strategy and recommendation hasn't really changed, which is why I felt I shouldn't delete that video out of shame, although, like anyone, I'd rather not have videos where I make an ass out of myself with a seemingly incorrect assumption. But even with this new information, my plan for the challenge is still the same. It's still a very tough and confusing challenge. The more we learn about it, the less I feel like I know about it. And if they added Infected, it might really help out. The only reason I was really going for it here was to have a good example for the video, and I really did try. Other than that, I don't mind waiting for myself. However, if you can't wait and want to go for it right away, well, I have trouble giving a concise recommendation. If the MVP versus MVP theory was correct, simple as that, then I would recommend doing exactly what I did, getting tons of kills in Headquarters. Like if you did something similar to my Shipment game in the original video, except played better at the top of the board, you could be earning those Kingslayers at the top of your team instead of in the middle, and that would hopefully complete the challenge, but that clearly didn't work for me. So I really do apologize for all this confusion. I didn't know it would turn out to be this confusing and awful. It really does bother me more than you might know to be slightly off on a couple big challenges now. Accuracy does matter to me. I'm really not rushing out these videos. I try to do my research and think things through, but first being a bit off on extreme speed and now this disaster of a challenge that I still don't fully understand even though I thought I did. Both times I made an assumption based on the information I had at the time. And I guess in this case there wasn't as much I could do. I just didn't have any other examples of the challenge being earned that I could study, so I made a hypothesis with what I had. I think I'm too hesitant to ask for help, so this time I did tweet out checking if anybody out there was sitting on other examples that I could add to the video. I do realize that what I can do alone pales in comparison to what can be done when other people are willing to pitch in. Anyway, that's how theories work, I suppose. As more information comes up, the theory is either solidified or can change, and it seems like it is still changing. Alright, wrap this one up for now. If there's a breakthrough, I really don't want to make a part 3 to the saga, but it might happen. I don't know. Otherwise, check the pinned comment for any future info as I earn the challenge, or learn more, or maybe they even change it, or talk about it. That'd be cool. Well, best of luck with Counter MVP if you're going to make an attempt right now. Now let's move on to the other challenges so that this video isn't just a big update. Time for Airborne. Shouldn't take too long. I wanted to put this one in a video because it's pretty tough, and I'm sorry to say I don't have an absolute miracle to blow through it, but I have been thinking about different strategies and putting them into practice, and I definitely have some good ways to get it done. I originally thought that this might be the toughest challenge in the game when I read it. Get a 2-kill streak with bullets while in midair. Excuse me, what do you want me to do? Of course, the first thought for getting a double kill in midair would be using an RPG or a noob tube so you can launch it midair and get a double. There you go. Or maybe by throwing some C4 on a flag beforehand and jumping while you detonate it. But no, this time there is thankfully some detail in the challenge description, and you need to do it with bullets. Well, you could try to stretch the description to mean if you jump and get a mid-air bullet kill, and then touch the ground, and then later jump and get another mid-air bullet kill. Is that a 2-kill streak while in the air with bullets? I mean, kinda, right? But no, I can tell you that doesn't appear to work as expected. You do need to get the 2-kill streak in the same length of airtime, no touching the ground in between. Okay, well then maybe the next thing to pop into your head would be a scene like this one, where you climb up somewhere real high and somehow activate slow motion cheats in multiplayer
to quickly take 2 people out.
Well, interesting idea, but not very viable. However, and this isn't my final recommendation, but taking that idea to hardcore does make it somewhat viable, I think. Just pick a weapon that does 30 damage at max range, or even 40 damage if you want to be prepared to one-shot the rare hardcore Juggernaut user, so like the RPD, or a Stopping Power AK, or Stopping Power G36. Anyway, with that one-shot kill potential, the falling shot is much more possible, but what I found to be the best for me is taking my problems to Shipment, because that always seems to help, and going for jumping shotgun collateral kills. You might think that sounds crazy, but it's actually working quite well. I went in with the Stopping Power Deep Impact Winchester 1200 to just blast through as much as I can in one single shot, and I made sure to jump before every shot, and tried to line people up. Lo and behold, it started working because of the terrible spawn system and how people tend to group up in corners, like there are often several people behind these dumpsters. I threw a grenade there, but realized my mistake quickly enough. There was a good opportunity there. And in only a few Shipment games, I already had 3 towards the challenge out of the total 10 you need. I really don't have a lot of time to keep playing right now, as I keep saying. I wish I could have completed the challenge to really say, look at how well this method worked, but that small sample will have to be good enough, and don't let me make it sound too easy. It will still take time, but I'm not worried if I only need 7 more. Hopefully people can share if this type of thing works for them, or if they have better ideas. Now I will add, on top of the 3 I got to count, I had a ton of near misses with this challenge, where I got a hit marker on one of the 2 people I hit mid-jump, and if my shotgun were just able to output a tiny bit more damage, that could have counted. Well then, why choose between Shipment and hardcore when you can have both? If you were able to get into a hardcore Shipment game, getting shotgun collaterals should be even easier because you will need fewer of your pellets to connect to get the kill. The things that will be working against you in hardcore, however, is the campier nature of hardcore mode. People care more about staying alive and will probably be camping more. That combined with the often instant time to kill will make it harder for you to run up to people and get a jumping kill. But there are the 2 options I like for completing the challenge, the jumping shotgun kills, and they do feel really good to pull off. If somebody has another idea I think is a good one, maybe that'll be a comment I pin, unless I have some counter MVP update to make, which I think I will. Well, there's Airborne, pretty tough one, but also pretty fun. You shouldn't be pulling your hair out over it. Sorry that I couldn't find a miracle, like if you stand on this broken car part on Bog, the game thinks you're in midair and you only have to get 2 kills while standing on it. Yeah, nothing like that. Now, while we're on the topic of efficiency medals here, I'll transition into mentioning the challenge for collaterals real quick. To be clear, the efficiency medal does not automatically count towards the collateral damage challenge. I've even gotten a helicopter efficiency medal before, but as it says, you do need to use a sniper rifle. There's no way around that. I promised I'd mention this challenge because I have gotten a surprising amount of comments about it. The thing is, there's no real guide I can make for this. It is very based on luck, and my reply to those comments has always been, I've had a surprising amount of success on Bog. I guess people tend to line up in those spawn zones over on the CDOM side in that building. The Bog spawns are notoriously bad on that side, and your odds are even better in Ground War when you have more people running around. This was actually my first collateral, and it's really cool in slow motion, because I bet you didn't see what the hell even happened there. Turns out I shot the guy in the bus in the foot through the wall, and then shot the guy in front through the head, and then that went through the wall to hit the other foot of the guy I injured for the kill. Looked pretty damn pro in slow motion. I swear, I wasn't just spamming the Dragunov. I got a third one on Bog that I didn't record, but here's another one on Block, actually, and this is really what I'm talking about. I got lucky here. Is there any strategy you can derive from that clip? Not really, I was just given that. As for theoretical recommendations, if not Ground War, you could try Shipment, of course. Same logic as always, people are more grouped up. You could definitely get them that way. They're fixing the collateral sniper bugs now, so it should be easier than ever. It was clearly possible before. I earned those 4 a long time ago, but it's good they got those bugs sorted out. So maybe Shipment, the answer to so many challenges, could be an answer to this one too. And in fact, if you jump while doing it, you could even be earning Airborne at the same time. I thought a shotgun would be easier, but maybe not. I actually haven't tried sniping on Shipment. I've always been taking the opportunity to get the shotgun camos done. Well, that's really all I'll say about Collateral Damage and Airborne. Like I said, not what I would even call a guide for collaterals, but that's all I can think to say about it. And anyway, I thought those two were about the right size to fit in with the massive counter MVP update. I originally wasn't going to do another video update for this one. I hoped the pinned comment would be enough, but then I played more games and learned even more about how truly confusing the challenge was, and I continued to get a couple comments from people after putting all that in place, indicating that they didn't catch the update info comment at all. My fault for the bad theory, obviously, so I wanted to put the updated information into a video, get it out to as many people as possible. Hopefully we get this thing locked down one day, maybe even with some help from Raven. That would be nice. I don't know if that second theory we had was any closer to what's actually going on, but I just wanted to fill everyone in on what I've learned since then. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will catch you next time.